What do you think that Singapore government or the policymaker could do to encourage more growth in the SMEs?
I think there's been a lot of move and initiatives on that front from many years back, where we even have a person looking after entrepreneurship. And that is important because entrepreneurship is essentially building of our future enterprises. And today, we are much better as compared to many years back. And if you ask me, I'm highly confident that very soon we'll start to see some of our opportunities where some of our enterprises will actually undertake even bigger challenges going forward. So essentially, the starting of our economy was getting direct investments in here, training the workforce to be ready to harm the economy. It has brought us to here today. But going forward, if you see the shift now, is about building intellectual property. It's about building enterprises that are ready to undertake far larger projects or far larger type of things that we could do by ourselves. And that has to be done on a very collaborative manner. So last year, for example, now if you create a game on the digital platform, is that manufacturing?
Traditionally saying no.
Exactly. But remember, previously when you need to play a game, you need to buy an Xbox, you need to buy a PSP box, you need to buy a Nintendo box, then you need to buy a cartridge. These boxes, these cartridges are manufactured somewhere. So they are part of the whole manufacturing supply chain. So we used to be called Singapore Manufacturers Federation. About 6 years ago, we have evolved into Singapore Manufacturing Federation, looking at the whole supply chain of manufacturing. Because the old way of left-hand side your raw materials, right-hand side comes out your finished goods, is gone. Today, a lot of your mobile devices, where are they made? Different parts in different places. The ASEAN has got good opportunity because they are at different levels of development. Some places will have competitive edge in developing or manufacturing some of these parts. And this essentially is what we term as the business model innovation, where you relook and rejig your whole business model, essentially to make it much more competitive and even more collaborative, meaning that when you need to manufacture something, do you need to build a factory? You don't.
No.
You work with somebody that has done that. And you look at all these mobile devices that you are using and holding, these guys don't manufacture them themselves. They get different parts that has got competitive advantage, make it, they keep the IPs there, they keep the research development, and they go out as a brand. So it's about brand building going forward. I think these are important. So last year, we actually had a professor that shared with us this thinking about the definition and also the new world of manufacturing. Because this game that you created in the digital space is the same enjoyment as the one that you buy a box, you put a cartridge, you still play the same game. The outcome is the same. But now it's digital. And this digital game now can be played by thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people around the world. And this could be created here. So therein lies the new world of manufacturing. So instead of going out there and say, look, we are an 86-year-old organization, we are going to tell you this is the new definition, we went on a journey of having a conversation of the future of manufacturing. And one key portion of the stakeholders that we are very keen to get them interested are the young people. Because if the young people do not want to join manufacturing, what is the manufacturing future? I mean, what is the manufacturing sector future, right? So we are using some of this to make the youth sit up and say, hey, look, this is an industry that is evolving and is changing very rapidly, and there are a lot of opportunities. So we have started transformative internship. We started an incubation hub. We are moving towards doing manufacturing as a service to optimize the resources that are available in this region.
That's really cool. So on that, right? Actually not that. I'm actually moving to productivity.
Sure.
Yeah. So productivity, right, has not significantly increased. Basically based on the figures that we have over the years. So from your view, right, it's Singapore companies not becoming more efficient, or is there something along the way that is not making the figures go up?
So productivity has got to be linked with innovation. So over in SMF, we have got a Singapore Innovation Productivity Institute. Notice it's Innovation Productivity Institute, not productivity innovation. Because productivity is about how do you do in the process, how do you try to do maximum or incremental output using the same resource to get a better leverage on that. But at the end of the day, there's only that much. Yeah. But in the innovation part, when you rejig your whole business model, when you look at the entire supply chain and utilize those resources that you don't have, and in a very collaborative manner, you are going to be right ahead, way ahead in terms of how the rest of the enterprises are moving. So the innovation part is far more important than just focusing on the productivity part. And that's an area that we have been pushing towards in the last 5-6 years at SMF on business model innovation.
It's okay. So innovation, right?
Yeah.
Do you think cheap labor, it's a deterrence or a hindrance to push SMEs to seek better productivity?
Well, when you start to have that readily, I wouldn't say cheap, but readily available.
Okay,
readily available.
Labor that you don't have to so-called nurture, retrain, reskill. Basically, you just buy off the shelf kind of labor.
Yeah. So that actually will not have an impetus for you to try to be innovative because you get it done. But can that sustain? So the sustainability is important because there's always a trade-off and there's always a social cost. So that can only get us so far. But if we need to bring ourselves to the next level, it has to be innovation that is going to kick you up and giving you that leap.
You're okay to dwell in this? Okay.
Sure.
So see, I actually work in the SME for like 4 years or more.
Right.
So it seems to me that certain companies, right, they stay ahead of the rest by basically undercutting their competitors. So at this current moment, it's still the case of so long I can offer the same services at a lower rate, I can better my competition. So of course the government is actually implementing new changes to the work levy and stuff to make it more expensive to run the thing. Do you see as disturbance in this, as in this whole trend?
In my humble opinion, I think using price as a mechanism to undercut is usually not a sustainable model. You can enter, but if that is the only advantage you have, there will be someone out there that will going to go lower. So what do you do next? You go lower, and where do you go? You go zero or you go minus. So people use the product, I pay for them to use it. Yeah. It can't be, right? So I think if we're going to have a much more longer term plan, it has to be a brand that people wants to, because when the brand goes in there, tomorrow I can't take it out. It is something that is intangible, but it is a long lasting. Because talk about the brand that people think of anywhere in the world now for a drink. Yeah? So that brand still stays in people's mind, and that brand can be put on a glass and you buy that glass, although it has got nothing to do with the product because it's a drink. But they put it on a t-shirt, you buy the t-shirt. They put it on a shoe, you buy the shoe. It's a brand that we need to start building and need to think about. So it is not just about the whole model of that, like whether it's labor or whether it's going to be the real estate part, but it's an entire model that you are able to harness the collaborative effort of the network that you have. So trade association chambers play a very important role to help SMEs connect it. And that's why they are going to play a much more active role going forward.